Hi everybody, this is Avram Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange. I hope you and yours are all well, especially during these difficult times of the 9 days. We pray for the hostages and for the soldiers and for the Jews around the world. May they be protected and may everyone come home safely, happily and healthily. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Devarim, the portion of Devarim which is the first portion in Chumash Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, the last of the 5 books of the Torah. And it's called Deuteronomy because it's double law. We have a special name for Devarim. It's Mishnah Torah. It's where many of the laws of the Torah are repeated and elaborated on. There are new laws as well in Chumash Devarim, but Chumash Devarim has mostly a lot of what Moshe is teaching the Jewish people about what to be careful about after he's gone, not to learn from the nations of the world that they're in. And he starts off Chumash Devarim with a very mild chastisement of the mistakes they made in the past by alluding to them by the places that they made these mistakes. And this brings us to a very important question. The great people in Judaism that we have, are they only great in the world sense, what they've accomplished, the fame, the works they did, the good deeds that they did? But actually in Judaism, the great people we have not only did great things, but were also great in a quiet, humble way in dealing with, quote, the little people as well. Not everything they did great made it to the newspapers. As a matter of fact, many things didn't. But they were great not only in public, but privately as well. They attempted to achieve greatness in large groups and in small groups, in big issues and in little issues. So we're going to see some examples of this. Rabbi Zalman Notzer, the great Rosh Yeshiva, the dean of a yeshiva in Jerusalem, a class came to him to be tested. And he was studying with them and he asked a question, and one of the boys gave an explanation that was totally off. And Rabbi Zalman didn't embarrass him, and Rabbi Zalman said, you probably meant to ask this question or give this answer to try to save the boy some embarrassment. But the boy said, no, I didn't mean that. I meant X, Y, and Z. And Rabbi Zalman tried to explain to him and say, maybe you meant this thing. No. After a while, the boy's rabbi, his teacher, was frustrated, but didn't say anything. But Rabbi Zalman went out, kept on trying to talk to him and explain to him and trying to fix, quote, his mistakes. And then Rabbi Zalman said, excuse me, I have to go out for a minute. And he walked outside and paced back and forth. And he said to himself over and over again, honoring one's fellow includes children too. Honoring one's fellow includes children too. Honoring one's fellow includes children too. And then he came in with a smile, and he said, let me learn the Tosfos again. Let me explain this commentary again with you. And then finally till the boy got it. The great brother of Reb Chaim Sanzer, the great Hasidic master, was a visitor in somebody's house. And the custom was that when the great rabbi would be visiting, that he would take the first portion of the cholent, of the stew, and then everybody else would get from them. And after he ate from his portion. And the great Rav had the first portion, and he started eating it. And then, surprisingly, he said, I'd like more. He gave more and more and more, and he emptied the entire pot. There wasn't anything left for anybody else. He asked, is there any more in the kitchen? No, bring me more now. And he polished off the whole thing. I was like wondering, what tarnation? This was for everybody. And the rabbi, Rabbi Vigdor Halberstam, ate it all himself. What's going on here? And no one could figure it out. Later on, they figured it out. The poor widow lady who helped cook for this wealthy man, instead of putting in oil into the cholent, into the stew, put in kerosene. So it had a terrible taste. But Rabbi Vigdor Halberstam didn't want anyone to realize. So what he did was he ate the entire thing himself. Not that she shouldn't be embarrassed. And when they pointed out to him, what did he do? And they figured out why he did it. He said, it's better that they think of me as a glutton, and better that I should suffer with eating kerosene flavored cholent than to let the widowed maid feel humiliated. What greatness. It didn't make the news, but it spared a widow some embarrassment. And this is where we need to be inspired with the great people in our lives. And especially during this time, the Second Temple was destroyed on Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, coming up this coming week, on Monday night, because of unwarranted hatred. And the only antidote for that is unwarranted love. These great rabbis give us examples of how to not to embarrass somebody, how to build somebody up, how to make someone feel good. May we merit to have unwarranted love for our fellow Jews, so that we merit soon to have the third and final temple soon in our days. Have a wonderful Shabbos. All the best.